In the movie, Power Man is known for having no eyes, but his eyes are in his palms of his hands. He does have very sharp teeth, and he is very slimy in a way. He has skin, but it's very shiny. It looks like it's, I don't know, just come out of a big vat of slime. He is known and shown as being a fairy eater. In the movie, there are fairies that help Ophelia go through the tasks ahead of her. But when you go through the actual room where he is, it also shows that he actually eats children. He is known as a child eater, which I think is very apt for me. My first bit of costuming I decided to create was the hands. Um, Basically, drew around my own hand, um, added 2 centimeters onto the paper, and then cut around that shape there. I then decided to put it onto the fabric, which is actually fleece. It's a skin toned beige kind of fleece. And then you cut that out, 2 pieces, sew them together, easy part. And you end up with a basic glove. My idea then, he has very pointed fingers. So what I had to do was cut circular pieces of card, slit it, and then twist it so they actually made really long, thin cones. I then placed foam on the inside of these cones so they actually fit my fingers really snugly, but not too tight, and there was enough room to move. Hot glued them into the inside and then covered those with fabric. The joins between the points of the fingers and the glove I actually sewed, and then I used paint over the top, and here is the result. Now, as you can see, the eye, yes, we have an eye. It doesn't blink, unfortunately. I was in two minds whether or not to put an LED on the inside of the eye to actually make it glow, but he doesn't glow in the movie. What's the point in doing it now, even though it would have looked nice and probably have a bit of effect, but I don't know. That's something I think everybody can vote on, whether or not I should put lights in the eyes. But there we go. There's the fingers, the long fingers. I can move them all. Again, like I said, it's just like a normal glove. The only problem is there is an eye in the centre. Again, it's just fleece fabric, black acrylic paint, cardboard, and makeup, tan makeup. My skin isn't tanned, as you can see, but I have decided to use a tan makeup just on the edges, just to give it that fading effect, which will then go into the glove. The whole idea of this was basically easy. It was kind of simple for me to come up. It was all basically hot glue, a little bit of sewing, and lots and lots of paint. With the fingers, it's literally a black acrylic paint. I have it laying around the house all everywhere. The points, it starts off black, but it fades down into his natural skin tone. And with these, it's literally just cardboard fingertips. Absolutely fantastic, easy to wear, lightweight as well. Not obstructive at all. I thought the eye might be quite obstructive, but it's actually not. I can still hold a bottle of juice, hold a cup and things like this. So it's very, very, very easily worn. The fabric used actually cost me roughly £8 a metre, which is, it's one of the cheapest cosplays I've made, but it's still very pricey for the fabric. Friends are like, oh, I only pay £7 for like this really awesome fabric, but no, £8 in King's Lynn. Unfortunately, that's the prices you have to pay. But yeah, it's quite easy to start with the hands. There are two of these, and this is one of them. I just get the second one. It's not as easy to get them both on. I sometimes do need some help to get them on, as obviously having long fingers doesn't help, but hopefully we can get on. So you need to straighten your fingers out, hence the reason for the foam on the inside of the fingers. And there we go. We have two eyes. Now, Again, like I said, easily held together with hot glue and sewn on. It's really, really secure. I'll see if I can show you the insides of them. It's a little bit difficult, but here we go. The insides, that's no good. You'll need to fold that in. As you can see, it's just literally roughly sewn together, roughly stitched. But the inside, I've managed to put the fabric of the actual glove inside the cones, which then gives it even more of a padding, and it's really, really comfortable. But that's the start of my Poundman. It didn't take too long. I think in total it took roughly a day. That's including the painting, the planning, and cutting out and things like that, and just setting it really. The whole costume, like I don't know if I said, but is going to be covered in PVA glue. This is how I'm going to get the sliminess look. I was going to use latex, but latex costs a lot of money and I'm on a tight budget. So all of this is going to be dipped in PVA glue, which will then be powdered down with a whiter and a nearer shade of facial makeup, which will then stop the stickiness as well, but it will give it a nice shiny effect. So that's the hands done for Poundman. Onto the head. Now the head still isn't finished, it's far from finished, but started off with a black banner carver. Obviously he doesn't have eyes, so first problem is, where do we see through? And after again researching, always do your research, that's one thing I can actually say. I found at least 4 other people who have done this in the world. Also looking at the videos of the actual movie itself and behind the scenes making ofs, things like that, you get an idea of how they look through and how they manoeuvre and how they made the costumes. Again, like I said, latex cost a bomb. Well, for me it does anyway. It would have been perfect if I could have got my hands on some latex, but unfortunately I couldn't. So I thought, again, use the fabric. I found the fabric as close to skin tone as possible. Obviously not good against mine because my cheeks are red. If I put it against my hand, it's close enough. It's as close as you're probably going to get in this fleece fabric. I was going to use cotton, but the cotton was too thin. It creased up, it looked like cotton, it didn't look like skin. So I got a balaclava, stretched it so I could see it, and ended up with this little monstrosity. Mouthpiece, there's obviously you get the hole for the mouth. I pulled it all the way forward, sewn the sides in, so then you get a smaller mouth, like that. Then I managed to get help from my mum. I hot glued while it was on my head, which was a very painful experience, I can say, with hot glue. I hot glued foam for the lips, around the top and around the bottom. This gave a more prominent lift outwards. It also helped to flatten my nose, but when it comes to actually wearing it on the day, I will be putting cling film around my nose area, as that will help push my nose in, and it will just help it just to look a bit more smoother when I put it on. But the first part was sorting the top part of the head. Now I'm going to put this on. I'm going to look really silly, but it's all worth it to show you. Now, I can see through the nose holes here. I can't see fantastically. Obviously, people who wear fursuits will know what this feeling is like. But there we go. The first part I did obviously was the mouth. I then got the fabric and laid it on top. Then got someone else to grab hold of the hot glue gun and glue around the outsides. Technically it should all be flat around the sides, but he's allowed a bit of sagging around the sides. Next section to do was the chin. Now chin areas, again, just a little bit of fabric going around. Nothing fantastic, nothing set in stone. Then the third section was adding the dangly bits. I still have some dangly bits to do at the bottom, and I still need to fabric the back. But these bits are just bits of fabric which have foam in the bottoms just to shape it, and hot glued all together. Now it looks really messy around this area here. Well, that would do because it's only just been hot glued. It doesn't look amazing as per se. But as for a start of a head, it's getting there. Everything will still be pulled back quite tight, so it'll be flat. And if you can see what I mean about the nose joint bit here, if I pull it as tight as it will be, you can see there is a slight bump there. With the cling film, it will disappear. Now I'm going to take this off so I can explain what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Now I can see through the nose. Around the nose area, I've just put some hot glue. It looks really messy. Yeah, I know that already. Again, messiness around. Ooh, there we go. Messiness around the joining areas of the mouth area here and around here as well. I know that. Because what's going to happen is very similar to how the hands are. I am using fabric to tone it. Not fabric, face makeup to tone it. So before I decide to PVA the whole costume, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some blusher. This one's going to be a tanned one, but I need to get a red or pink pigment into it as well. So I'll have a bit of a blusher mixed in with it, along with some black paint just around the nose area, which will just help to darken out my eyes and darken around the messiness. Again, all the messiness will be hidden away by paint and by makeup. But that is the start of Powman. I will be getting some fake teeth, so he will have really sharp teeth. He has been shown as having sharp teeth. He looks really nasty, but the teeth, I don't know whether to attach it to the actual mask or to wear it in my own teeth. That is something I will be testing with. I've got a feeling I might actually just stick it to the inside of the mask and then stick them out so that they come out like that similar. But yes, that is the start of my Powman. I do have some legs made, but they're currently drying. But yes, there we go. That's the start of Powman for May Expo.